Okay, so today we are building a gaming PC and in a budget of around 35,000. In a gaming PC, the most important component is generally the processor. So, let's start with the processor itself. So, the processor that I selected for this gaming build is the Ryzen 5 600G. Why I selected this processor for this build is because it has a 6 core and 12 thread process with the 19 MB cache and up to 4.4 GHz max boost, and it also comes with the Vega 7 graphics, which are good enough. At least it is much better than those GT 710 graphics card or GT 1030 graphics card. So yeah, this is the processor that I have picked. So you can see the specification here. It supports DDR4 RAM up to 3200 megahertz clock speed, and it has two memory channels, and it has a power draw of 65 watt, and it has AM for socket and that. You can see here. If you want to read, you can pause the video here. So the next thing that I am going to talk about is the RAM itself. So I have chosen a data RAM that is 3200 megahertz. Now, why I have chosen this RAM is because, first of all, look at the ratings. Ratings are really good, around 4.5 ratings out of 5 stars, and the stars are the amount of the number of rating is also really good, like 2195 rating. That is really good. So and I suggest you to buy two of these sticks, not one, because then it will support the dual channel memory. Now it is one of the cheapest way to enhance your performance in your gaming build, rather than spending a lot of money on an expensive GPU. Yes, it is important, GPU is important, but if you do not have much money, then you can just buy two of these sticks and convert it into a dual channel system, and it will provide you more performance than a single channel stick. Even if you buy a 16 GB single channel stick, it will not provide you enough performance. 8 GB, 8 GB sticks will provide you more performance than a single 16 GB stick. So this is the interface. DDR, it is a DDR4 memory with 8 GB. This is also really good about this RAM is that it comes with 5-year warranty. So this is the Kingston Fury 8 GB 3200 megahertz. This is also in the same ballpark of that A data RAM, and this has multiple options, like it is also available in 3600 megahertz, but the price is obviously higher. So I will suggest you that you go for 3200 megahertz. It's more than enough for you. And another thing is that they did not mention any warranty here, like they did in the a data web page. So that is a concern. It does say lifetime warranty, but I don't know what they mean by lifetime warranty. They definitely won't give you warranty if you go to uh, Kingston after like 10 or 15 years or something like that. So there has to be a number, like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So there's that. So now let's look at the motherboard that you can buy in this price range that won't go obsolete in just 2 or 3 years. So there are two options really. uh, uh, you can buy either gigabyte 450M with micro ATX, and you can also buy gigabyte AMD B450 with the ATX motherboard. So in a micro ATX and ATX, there is generally not much difference. It's just that it's a bit smaller, consumes less space, and this is generally larger. But if you look at the price, there is like a 1000 rupee difference here. So it depends on you. And This also comes with the Wi-Fi, inbuilt Wi-Fi, whereas you may have to use an external adapter for it. So, for the sake of price, to keep it budget friendly, let's keep this one in our minds, that we need to purchase this one for building a PC. And you can also see that there is a 3-year warranty. So all the components that I am suggesting would be of a reputed brand, because if you are investing money into something, invest in a good thing so that you don't have to buy it again and again. So if you buy like a gigabyte motherboard or something like that, it will last you for years. And I'm not joking about that. It can last you up to 10 or 15 years even. So if you buy a cheap brand, just to save money, you may have to buy the motherboard again and again after like 3 or 4 years. So generally you will see like for 450 watt PSU, uh, around 3200, 3300, you have to pay this much amount for the peace of mind. And I will suggest you never cheap out on a power supply, because this is the thing that will provide power to all of your components in the PC. And if something goes wrong with this thing, then it can fry all of the components in your PC. Like your motherboard could fry, your processor could die, your graphic card could be damaged, your RAM could be damaged, or worst case, all of them could be damaged at the same time. So I will not suggest you buy a cheap power supply, or never cheap out on a power supply. A reputed brand power supply, no matter what. Even if you are like very tight on budget, very tight on budget, even then I will suggest you buy a good power supply, because it's just not about the PC. Look at the amount of power it is drawing. And if something goes wrong, your whole house could catch fire. So you need to buy to build your PC. And that is the SSD. And in today 2023, I will not recommend you to buy an HDD under any circumstances. Even if you are like building PC under 20,000, even then I will suggest you to buy an SSD over HDD, and prefer quality over quantity. So yeah, this is the SATA SSD. Now why I am showing you first is because even if you compare a SATA SSD to SATA HDD, there is a huge difference. Like if you check the read and write speeds here, there should be read and, so I have researched it. Like here it says it is up to 450 MB per second. Now, this might seem a bit low when we compare to like an NVMe SSD, but it is also a whole lot cheaper than the NVMe SSD. Like, if you look at the price of an NVMe SSD, it is easily like 2000 rupees more. Even if it's not 2000, it is 1500 rupees more than the SATA SSD. Yes, it will provide a bit faster speeds. Like it says it provides 3500 MB per second speed, but in my case it generally isn't that noticeable, because I have two PC at my home. I have this laptop on which I am recording all this, and then I have a PC, a desktop computer, in which I have SATA SSD. I'll say that the computer boots up much faster, even though it has a SATA SSD, and the laptop has an NVMe SSD, and even then it takes a while to start up. That may be because the computer has a lighter version of Windows, and this one has a like full-fledged version of Windows. But you can also do that and save a bit of cash if you are tight on the budget. And if you're willing to stretch your budget a bit, then you can go for this NVMe SSD. It will serve you well. But if you are really tight on the budget and you don't want to compromise on the storage, as well as you don't want to pay a bit of premium for it, then I'll say you can go for the crucial 1 TB SSD, SATA SSD. All the links are given in the description, like, and look at the ratings. Look at the ratings here. There are barely any one star or 2 star, and overall rating is 4.5 out of 5. So the even the customer reviews are like, someone has done the crucial disk here, and it is 535 MBs per second in read speed, and 487 MB per second in writing speed. So for the price, it generally is really good for especially compared to an HDD, which has like 50 to 100 MBs per second for read and write speed, even lower than that. Now, what I want you to look while buying a case is, uh, first of all, you don't want to buy a case that doesn't support much airflow because of the temperatures, obviously. And so you need to look for ventilation in the case. For example, look at this case. I know it is a bit expensive for the budget that we are going through, but look at the ventilation here. So there is a mesh, and on the other side of mesh there are perforations so that air can come through and cool all the components that are there. And there is no thermal throttling. Yes, it is a bit expensive, but let's look at another case which is not this expensive. This case, for example, look at this case. There is absolutely no ventilation whatsoever in the front. There is like a little bit of ventilation in the sides, but that is not enough for a gaming PC, and especially if you are using a processor like 5600G, which can get pretty hot. So yeah, you need to avoid cases like this so that your processor doesn't thermal throttle. Yeah, that is quite not enough ventilation for a gaming build. Yeah, there is a bit of ventilation in the top, but your fans are set up like this. Like, there is a space for fans here. You can see that there are space for fan here. What's the point of this space that you have given if you don't even give the ventilation in front of the fans? The fans won't take air from here. They will take air from the front of the case. So I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, look at this has ventilation in the front. Like you can see here, there is ventilation in the front. Cabinet will give you much better temperatures. And like, look at this, this has much more perforations in the front of the cabinet. It even has a perforation on the top for extra cooling, you can say that. This case is pretty good, actually. This case is pretty good. It is a bit price on the pricier side, like 3200 rupees for a budget build. That is a bit pricey, but I will say it is one time investment. You don't buy a case like every 2 months or 3 months or even a year. You buy a case and then you build a PC into it and you upgrade your components within that case. You don't just swap cases every 6 months or 1 year. So it is smart to invest better in a case in the beginning of building your piece. So there is also 1 year warranty, and there is also a panel for cable management. So yeah, we are going a bit over budget. It is not exactly under 35,000, but for me, I am making this video so that you don't have to search or scram for every single thing on the internet. And also, I have included all the branded products, not like I haven't cheaped out on anything. The problem of cheaping out on a component is that even if they offer you warranty, they probably won't give you any warranty because you won't be able to contact them. And Brands like Gigabyte or Porsche, they have their well-established service centers and helpline numbers. You can call them, but if you buy a cheap component, you won't get any service, and at the end of the day, you will just end up wasting money. So that is why I am saying that if you are building a PC, consider stretching your budget to a bit extra, so that you don't have to suffer later. So you yes, you can save a bit of money on the RAM itself, like a data RAM. I have included 16 GB of RAM because you will need 16 GB of RAM generally to run the title smoothly. Because first of all, you need it is the cheapest way to improve your performance on in the gaming build itself. And another thing is, like, if you even minus 2029, then you will come somewhat closer to the budget. 8 GB RAM isn't really enough anymore. That is what I think. Like, to run if you are building it for esports titles. And yes, one another thing, the processor, why I recommended 16 GB of RAM instead of 8 GB, is also because when you're using a Ryzen processor, like, let me show you. My processor is Ryzen 535 3550H, and there's something I want to show you. Look at this dedicated GPU memory. Now, this isn't the memory that it comes with, the processor comes with, but it reserves from my actual RAM in the PC. Like, you can see here, 13.9 GB is the total memory, but actually the total memory that is available in my PC is 16 GB. You can see this here, hardware reserve 2.1 GB. Don't buy the 8 GB stick, especially with the Ryzen processor, because it will reserve 2 GB memory for its Vega 7 graphics, and then you'll be left with like 6 GB of memory, out of which 4 GB is a bit too much, but uh, 2 GB of the RAM will be taken up by the Windows, and you will be left only with the 4 GB RAM, even when you paid for like an 8 GB stick. So that is why I'm saying upgrade to 16 GB. Like, I also did a recent upgrade to my RAM, because if the processor won't bottleneck, the GPU won't bottleneck, but the RAM will. Especially when the your some of 2 GB of your RAM will be reserved by the hardware itself. In the next video, I will ask the Chat GPT to recommend a system and its components under 35,000, and we will see how well it fares against the PC that we build here right now. So if you like this video, and if you want to see the next video that I will be working on, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. That video is going to be very exciting. So bye bye now.
Joke's over! You're dead!
There they are.
I've got your trail. One dead. My ultimate is ready. Here.
Charging up my shields. 45 seconds, but we could just walk it. Fire in the hole! They're shooting at me!
Someone's ready to throw well.
Reloading!
30 seconds.
I am taking fire, friends.
Enemy down.
Charging shields. Come on, come on.
Reloading.
Giving my
They
shields
can
a
run as
recharge.
fast as they want, but natural
Getting killed back.
selection will always catch up.
New kill leader appointed.
Okay, 10 seconds till ring close. Taking fire. New kill leader. Recharging
Any
shields.
brave souls step up to that
Charging